and the way that he talks about her the whole way through, but even in the end about how much he loved her, literally just blew me away. I'm actually gonna cry again. Hello everyone, welcome back to
the Ginger and Spice podcast.
So although it's not been a while since you've seen us on the podcast, it has been a while since we've done our Zodiac Academy podcast. So if you've been following along, you'll know that we did Zodiac Academy books 1 to 3 with the novellas. So we did 0.5, 1.5, and then 1, 2, and 3. That's right, isn't it?
Yep.
So essentially those 5 books. And then we stopped and switched to Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac. And when I tell you, this has been a journey.
Oh my God.
It's been a fucking journey. Like, oh my God. So we did 2 podcasts for books 1 and 2 of Ruthless Boys. However, we then had the brunch. I don't want to keep bringing it up. But we did have the brunch and we got very, very overwhelmed. And then we just lost time to film everything that we needed to film. But we are now back. And we are back with a bang.
Yes.
You're going to be fucking sick of us.
Big time.
I think we should just give our overall thoughts now and then we can kind of dive into everything. But before we go ahead, I just want to make it clear there is going to be spoilers in this.
Yes, for sure.
So in our weekly wrap up, we try not to have spoilers. However, in the Zodiac Academy, given the nature of what it is, we want to talk about everything. So there is going to be spoilers in this episode, and there's going to be spoilers in every episode thereafter. Yep. So if you haven't read the whole of this Ruthless Boys series, I would say dip out now. So my overall thoughts and feelings are, initially, I was like, these books don't need to be this long. This is so unnecessary. This is so many pages. It's so many fucking words. And there's so many lull periods in the middle of every single book. Like, every single book, there is a lull in the middle where nothing is actually happening for an extended period of time. Not just a short period, but a real extended period of time. However, that being said,
Upon reflection,
I think we can both agree that we do kind of see why that's been done. The attachment I feel to these characters and to this series is insane.
Yeah,
like
sure.
I got to the end and I was like, whoa, okay, no, I'm actually not ready for this to be over. Coincidentally, again, because we were saying it didn't need to be that long, it could have been longer.
Yeah,
it genuinely could have been longer.
Do you know what? If you chucked on an extra 5 books, I would be happy about it. Like, I would be fine.
Absolutely.
I would be absolutely fine with that. Like, I fucking loved it so much. I loved every single character. I loved where it was going. It didn't go in the direction I thought it was going to go in, which was fine. But I was just so good.
I genuinely feel like this series should have been the Zodiac Academy.
Yeah, I know. I have been saying this. So I probably started saying this from the middle of Ruthless Boys, that I'm genuinely not excited about going back to Zodiac.
I don't know how I just don't know how it's going to live up to this. Like, because this was so fucking good.
I know.
It was just such a good time. I mean, is it, a literary masterpiece? Fuck no. No, it's not.
No one's saying it is.
Was it a fucking good time? Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Was it hella spicy at the end? Yes. Fuck yes, it was, and it was great. Oh, I'm really upset that I'm not in this world anymore.
I know. It's savage. It really is savage.
So talking about the end, and it didn't go in a way that we thought it was going to go, I would agree with that. And for me, I don't know if it's the same for you, but that was mainly based around Gareth. I'm going to reiterate this point before I say what I'm about to say. If you have not read this series, you need to dip out now. Because I am about
to come in with a major spoiler.
The biggest spoiler that could be spoiled. Yeah. Okay? So if you haven't read it, leave now. The one thing that I didn't expect was Gareth to actually be dead.
Yeah, I know. It's actually really annoying.
I really desperately wanted him to be alive.
Because like when they were dipping back into all of his chapters throughout the first couple of books, I was like, fucking hell, he's such a nice guy. Like, he's doing this for her. And I was like, oh, he's got to be alive. I genuinely thought he was hauled up with one of the guys. and they were protecting him for some reason. Like, I didn't know why. But that was my first thoughts, was that someone like Dante or Ryder has got him somewhere for some sort of reason, and that's what we're going to find out. And then it must have been like, I think it was Broken Fae, and I was like, nah, he's definitely dead.
Yeah.
And it hit hard.
When we found out what happened that night with Gareth in the middle of the series, it was left open-ended a little bit, so you were still unsure, because he was obviously planning to fake his own death, and you were still left a little bit like, well, so did he do it, or... We really were led down a rabbit hole of believing that he was still alive, and that was obviously intentional. Because when you got to those final scenes with him, which honestly, I was genuinely in fucking tears at the very, very end, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in more depth. But oh my God, because it was final. It was like, this is like, he is not coming back.
Yeah.
This is it. She did get some closure in those scenes, which was good and it was nice, but I cannot tell you how much I was holding out. I'm actually going to cry.
Are you? Oh, don't cry. We don't have tissues.
Oh my God, I'm actually crying. I did say to you before we started filming this, but I think I might actually cry when I talk about that. I literally only listened to it like the other day. Like, we've only just finished this, so it is still kind of fresh. Fuck me, yeah, that was so sad. I was so sad about it. I really wanted him to, like, she was like, oh, please come back with me, because she goes to see him, like, basically in the in-between. They call it the divide, so between like life and death. So she opens up the veil, I guess, if you wish, and she goes to see him, and she's like, please come back with me, and he's like, I can't, because if I come back, everyone else is going to come back and it'll tear a hole and all this kind of stuff or whatever. And he was like, you need to go and live your life. You've got all these men that love you, like, you wouldn't have found them if I hadn't have died, and all this kind of stuff. And it was just really bittersweet that she got her closure and got to speak to him, but obviously it was like, no, he's dead. So let's start with book one. Let's get our stars and chili ratings out the way from the beginning. So book one is called Dark Fae.
Yep.
And I gave this 4.5 stars and 2.5 chilies.
And I gave it 4 stars and 2 chilies.
Which is fair. This book one was like an info dump.
Yeah.
It was, you know, getting to know the characters, the main characters, the side characters, the teachers, professors, what people's orders are, which didn't play as big of a part in this as it does in Zodiac Academy. Zodiac Academy, their orders and stuff play a lot bigger part, but sure. I guess that's because it's a bigger series. And you do get spice in this really quite early on. I actually think the first spicy scene is chapter 13 in book one.
Her and Gabriel.
Yeah.
I think that's when I was like, oh, I'm going to love Gabriel. I can tell he's going to be my favourite. But he really got boring real quick.
He did. Yeah. He was the boring one.
He's coming in and dipping in with her straight away. He's only known her for like a day.
Yep.
And then, no, he just sort of vanished.
Yeah, he did become a little bit boring, but he got the whole she's going to be my mate thing got a little bit repetitive and a little bit tedious. And I was like, well, Gabriel, shut up. Literally shut up. So it did kind of come full circle with Gabriel, because obviously in book one he was the first person that she was actually with and kind of like really bonded with in that way, and Gabriel was the last person that she mated with at the very, very end. And obviously all of the bit in between was Gabriel was adamant that she was his mate. In book one, we really learn about the boys' personalities in this. Like, the authors really go hard on making it obvious how they're different, I would say.
For sure.
Like Leon coming in with his, you know, big bouncy golden retriever personality, being funny, he's the joker of the group and stuff like that. And then Ryder being like kind of grumpy and aggressive and, you know, a bit of a loner and that kind of thing. A bit of a hard nut, you know, he's got tattoos on his knuckles and shit that say like lust and pain or whatever. Yeah, and you do learn a lot in book one. You know, you learn about Killblaze, you learn about Gareth.
Also, you got the introduction to the Black Card Cult Society as well, because obviously at the end of the book she ends up on Killblaze and she kind of wanders off because they're at this ball and she ends up meeting King, sucking powers out of everyone.
I'd say that's a really good summary for book one, is that it is basically an info dump for people and plot, and then the plot kind of ramps up towards the end and then leads us nicely into book two for everything to just really open up then.
For sure.
And as much as we start maybe getting some answers trickling through, we then have like double the amount of questions going into like books 2 and 3. Yeah, so let's go into book 2 then. Book 2 is called Savage Fae.
Yep.
I gave this 4 stars and 2.5 chilies.
I gave this 4.5 and 3 chilies.
So this does pick up right where book 1 ended. So each book is literally just a direct continuation. It is basically just one really big fucking story.
So this one is basically a continuation, but this one is more of their relationships blossoming. So she gets really close with Leon. Gabriel still thinks that they're Elysian mates, so he is very much trying to get back in there as well. Also, we have a lot more to do with Dante and Ryder. So obviously Ryder is the Lunar Brotherhood leader, and Dante is the Oscura clan leader. We also get more from Felix, which is Dante's uncle. The end of book 2 is where it all kicks off, because the Lunar Brotherhood turn up, and then Felix is there, and everyone's trying to kill everyone, and it's just fucking mental. And then Felix declares war against Dante. So it was wild.
It really does kick off at the end of book 2. This is actually my lowest rated book out of the whole series, book 2, because I just feel like, I think maybe probably because of the relationship developments taken front and center for most of the book. That it just, for me, I do like a bit of plot with it. I don't like it when it's just kind of lulling and relying on relationships. So this was the lowest rated for me. However, I did still obviously massively fucking enjoy it. We do learn quite a bit in this as well. Like, say, you know, Ryder and Dante come into play more in this. We learn about Felix, etc. Elise is obviously still dead set on like finding out what happened to her brother, what happened to Gareth. And yeah, we do continue to get Gareth's chapters in this as well.
So we do actually find out in this book that Gareth was working with Dante, working with Ryder, trying to steal from Gabriel, and then was best friends with Leon. So finding out about all 4 of those people, I think then was then trying to make you think, okay, well, one of them,
it's got to have been one of them. Something's happened with one of them. Some of those questions about what the boys had done with Gareth are answered. So the Ryder and Dante thing was very difficult at the start. So they had a special bond, which by the stars they were adversaries. So they were bound to always kind of basically hate each other and just want to kill each other. Eventually that bond is broken because of Elise, but they do have to kind of like fight their way to that, I guess. And in this book, Ryder at the end really has to make an on-the-spot decision because he has Dante in his grips, and he really is sort of left standing there where Dante is prime and ready for the taking. He could take him out easy, which is what he's supposed to have been doing his whole life, and he chooses not to.
He's literally like all cut up, like he can't move, he's got no powers. Elise is like, please can you just fucking help him?
Yes, at least spare his life and just let us go if you're not going to help. And he does. He makes the decision to let Dante go. And that really was, I think, a turning point for us as readers, definitely, where we realize, okay, they definitely can get past this. It's obviously something's obviously going to happen between them all. So that was nice that we knew that they were going to get past that little bond. I would definitely read this whole series again. I would listen to the series again. So I would say, if you're going to do it, I would recommend listening. And if you want to be really bougie, immersive read it.
No, bougie! Yes, love it!
Okay, is there anything else you want to say on this one? Do you have any favourite scenes? There was a threesome in this one. Ooh! Oh, the shower one. The shower scene with Dante and Leon. Yeah, so it was the very first threesome. So this is book 2. I didn't actually...
Oh, wait, just before you say this, just to give it context, so Ryder and Dante have an agreement that they won't do anything sexual with Elise, just because they're both like logging heads over it. So she's obviously with everyone, but they're like, no, you can't touch her, like you can't do anything with her, and let's like both agree that neither of us will do that.
And then they shake on it, and because they've shook on it, it's now written in the stars or whatever. And if they break their bond by doing something with her, they'll be held to pay. Like all sorts of things will happen, so neither of them can actually touch her.
So now they've got to find loopholes.
And Dante finds a great loophole in this threesome scene. So basically it's Leon, Dante and Elise, and they're in the showers, and Dante obviously can't touch her, so he's just watching. He's just watching Leon with her. And then he just starts giving out orders, basically. And he says to Leon, on your knees, take her panties off. And honestly, it's very, very minimal words, But when he said it in his little fae-talian accent, looming over them, his 6.5-foot self, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
It was honestly, that scene was it was so fucking
good. Do you know
good.
what? It was such a good loophole.
Yeah.
Like, I was so glad that they found one.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to at that
They
point.
get creative.
They do get very creative.
Ryder gets creative with a vibrator at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great, actually.
This was like the first one. And obviously Leon plays a massive part in all of them because he gets all the why choose situations together and then he kind of is like, well, yeah, you know, you can't touch there, but you can do this.
Woo! So fucking good.
Yeah.
So Elise meets Leon's family in this. So this is where we meet Rory.
Yes.
Leon's brother. And he uses his charisma, or Rory tries to use his charisma on Elise to like get her to like him and stuff. And then Rory and Leon end up like button heads. And that whole interaction with his family is just so cute because Leon's family really were so well written that it suited him as a character.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Elise kind of like, she really shows up for her man.
You know, like she understood the assignment.
She fucking understood the assignment.
She didn't know that she was going there.
Yeah.
And she didn't know that she was going there as his girlfriend, even though she wasn't.
Yeah.
And because Leon and Rory have like this thing where Rory always thinks he's better than Leon. And he kind of like, Leon done like little puppy dog eyes, little lion eyes at her and was like, okay, we can go if you want to. And she was like, no, we're going to go and do it. And it was like, yes! Do it.
Yeah, and then she leads Rory in under false pretenses, and she steals the car keys out of his pocket, and she really shows up for Leon in those scenes.
I was so happy about it.
Fucking sweet. It was so sweet. I loved it. If we go into book 3 now, which is called Vicious Fae. So before we get into the plot and everything, I gave this 4.5 stars and I gave it 3 to 3.5 chilies.
I went 4.5 stars and 3 chilies.
Yeah. So Felix scarpered off at the end of book 2 and then he actually went into hiding. And then we just don't hear from him.
Yeah, I think the only bit that we heard in this book from him was him working with King.
Yeah.
Because King wants to take over Celeria, and he said, if you help me take over Celeria, then you can have Alestria. So I think that was literally all we heard from Felix.
It was a very short, it was a very small part as well.
Yeah.
It was another like blink and you miss it situation. So in this book, we learn more about like Ryder's past and his story and like what has kind of made him the way he is today. And I'm going to be honest, this is where I was like, whoa, this took a dark turn.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck me, that is dark as shit.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So this one we find out that Ryder was actually kidnapped by a lady called Mariella, who was part of the Oscura clan.
Yeah.
So she is like in with Felix. So she had him locked up. She was doing very sexual things to him. I mean, he wasn't even that old. He was
15.
Yeah.
In it, yeah.
Was doing sexual things to him, was like fucking with his brain. And he got to a point where when he escaped, he was then trying to find her, but she was in hiding. So now he's on a revenge hype where he's trying to figure out where she is.
Yeah.
So he's kind of using Felix to try and find out because Felix has already asked him to off Dante. So he was like, I'll do that if you tell me where Mariella is. And we'll probably talk about it when we talk about book 4 in a minute. But he does end up getting his revenge, which was... Mwah!
It was very good.
Spot on.
Yeah, it was just awful. She kept him locked away until he was broken enough that he behaved when he was let out, and then she started being nice to him, so showing him non-sexual physical affection to kind of like rope him in. She would feed him better when he was behaving, that kind of stuff. And then she would put him in a locked box, like a really tight locked box, if he misbehaved. She locked him in a car with the engine on until he nearly died at one point as well. And because she would be really nice to him when he behaved, he then obviously Stockholm syndrome, he then started to crave the nice parts of her and he wanted that more and more. So eventually he also became affectionate with her, and that affection led to sexual affection and them being intimate. And obviously she was, you know, it wasn't really consensual, was it? Obviously.
It was pretty bad.
This is also where Gabriel finally tells Elise that he beat the shit out of Gareth, but he didn't kill him. He says, I did beat him up, but...
She cries and is like... So he's like, oh fuck, what have I done?
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm so glad you told me, because that means that you definitely didn't do something to him.
Yeah.
So now I can trust you. And I was like, oh,
I know.
that's
I
very
didn't expect that
cute.
either. And that was quite a nice little turn of events in
Yeah,
that
it was.
conversation.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, actually, that makes sense.
Oh, that's very nice.
She says she understands and is happy because it means that he didn't kill him and she can now stop fighting how much she wants him. That they have a little game of cat and mouse and he riles her up and then strips off her top, makes her braless, and then she straddles him, sinks her fangs into his neck, unzips him, pushes her panties to the side and slides on him.
Ugh,
and I wrote here, it was so hot and it was really overdue. Because I think they'd just been like dancing around each other for like 2.5 books.
Oh yeah, for sure. Since the first time that they'd done it in book 1.
Yeah. It was just,
but they were like,
come on,
falling out with each other over nothing.
And then actually the 2 back-to-back scenes, so we had chapter 13, and that was Elise and Gabriel, and that was that whole situation. And then you got chapter 14 with Ryder, and she says to Ryder, he's like doing all little bits with his tongue piercing, like teasing her and stuff like that, and they're having a bit of a back and forth, and she says to him, I don't care what you do with a good girl, Ryder, but I want to know what you do with a bad one.
He's so hot. Honestly.
And then he uses a vibrator on her in the scene because of the deal with Dante, where neither of them can fuck her.
Over her panties.
Yeah, where he uses the vibrator. A little loophole. Another loophole.
Another loophole.
All those loopholes.
God, they love them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Gotta love those loopholes.
Oh, we were saying before we started recording, actually, that this is the book where I think the bromance between all the 4 boys really started to pick up pace.
Yeah.
So, previous to this book, number 3, it was all about their relationships individually with Elise and learning about them as well. And we obviously got like small snippets of like Dante and Leon mainly together and having a bromance, but all 4 of them together, especially with Ryder and Dante being, adversaries, hating each other, it's been difficult to get that bromance. So this is the book where it all really did start to come together for the 4 boys. And it was all driven by Leon.
Yeah,
it really,
sure.
really was. And it continues to be the whole time. But Leon basically sets up like a little date night to watch The Lion King. They have this running joke within their little group, within their pride, that Leon calls them.
That's so cute.
About how Ryder kind of calls Leon Mufasa, or he calls him Mufasa when he's angry at him, and he calls him Simba when he's okay with him. So Leon makes a little date night with him and Elise and invites Ryder along so they can all watch The Lion King together. And basically she ends up in the middle of the 2 of them, and then they basically just both end up fingering her, and it's just really hot and it's really great. And it was kind of like the first time where Ryder decides to play nice with the other boys. Yeah. And it was kind of like the start of there's little bromance with Leon and kind of accepting him a little bit.
It's not just thingy, is it? Because he likes Frozen as well.
Yes, that was so funny, because Leon was like, good. He mentions something to him, doesn't he? He says something that he would only know.
Let it go. He says, you need to let it go or something like that. And he was like, oh, he loves me and he loves Frozen. So good.
I really liked their little relationship.
I loved it.
The more I'm talking about this, the more I hate that it's over.
I know. It's making me really
upset.
It's making me really sad.
Oh, and before we get to the final scenes, this also was where we went back to Zodiac Academy.
Yes, we did.
So they all did a little travel back to ZA. So they went to Zodiac Academy. They met Lance Orion. It was actually very nice to see Lance as well.
Yeah, it was good seeing Lance.
He's like this. Probably our favourite character from Zodiac at the minute, I would say.
Because he's the adult.
Yeah, he is the only adult. That was a nice little trip.
Yeah, actually. I loved a little trip to ZA.
Yeah, that was the one where they're having beers, aren't they, after the pitbull match or something like that, or before, and they're all in a room, and then Lance comes in, and Leon's like handing out beers to everyone. So he goes to give Lance a beer, and Lance is like, "Oh no, I don't drink. I have to take care of this body. You know, my body is a temple and all that. If I want to go pro, I need to look after myself." And Leon's like, "Oh yeah, of course." And then he goes over and puts the beer back in the fridge and takes everybody else's beer off them, puts them back in the fridge, yanks the fridge out and just chucks it out the window. Problem solved.
That's such Leon behaviour as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so daft, but it's so funny.
I was proper laughing at that scene. It was so
good.
Funny. And then someone says it was either Ryder or Dante turns to Lance and is like, "Oh, Leon's got a bit of a hard on for you.
Yeah.
Which he does. He obsessed with Lance.
Oh, I love it.
It was so cute.
He sends him a newsletter every month or something.
The orgy newsletter or something like that. Yeah.
Which is just half naked pictures of
all of
it.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Okay, should we go into this final scene?
Yes, let's do it. So, final scene. We had all of them going to the Black Card Society ritual because they were going to go and fuck King up. And they got there and it didn't go how they thought it was going to. Elise ended up on Killblaze and she just ran off with Eugene and it all got very weird. And then Nightshade was there. And then, didn't she like jump down a well?
Oh, yeah.
Was it a well?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think so.
So Nightshade is there and is threatening her. So Elise ends up down a well. So then she's in like this area that's got like different,
like tunnels. Things, yeah.
There's this vampire that's there, which we later find out is her fucking dad. I don't know how that became a thing, but we'll get onto that later. Yeah. So that was weird. Anyway, so this vampire is chasing her through these tunnels. And then the boys are like, right, Gabriel, you need to try and feel like where she is. Like, we need to find out where she is. And he's like, okay, well, I feel like she's in a dark place and all this stuff. I feel like she's in a dark place. And they're like, well, yeah. And then they all end up down the well. I mean, we're laughing at this, but it gets really dark.
Yeah, it does.
Get dark quite bad. So they all end up in the well. She is then with Nightshade and it's all fucking kicking off. The boys then come in and then Nightshade is like blasting things everywhere. Freaking Leon dies.
Yeah, that was intense.
Gabriel gets really badly hurt. Dante's like hanging on for dear life. He's like in a little area.
Yeah.
It's all a fucking mess, basically.
Yep.
It's all a total mess. But then Ryder snaps her neck. Great. She's dead. Leon's back to life. So they're all walking out the tunnels. They're, under the stars.
Oh, wait, when Leon dies, doesn't Ryder give him something? And then when he wakes up, he's like, you love me, don't you?
Ryderkins.
Look what Ryderkins. Look, you do love me because look what you gave me. You wouldn't have given me this if you didn't love me. Admit it, you were sad. And it was just, it was really funny.
So they're walking under the stars. Leon and Elise are in front and the stars talk to them and they make them Elysian mates.
Yeah. Basically, the stars align, literally, and they feel like this calling into the woods. So they kind of like go into the woods together and then they basically pull them together and make them Elysian mates.
I'm not going to lie. I weren't happy about it at the time.
No, I also wasn't happy about it at the time.
Did not see this coming. Actually fuming.
It didn't feel right.
It didn't feel
like Leon was the right person. It felt a little bit like, are you doing this for the sake of it? Like,
yeah. Are you doing this because he just died and now you're trying to make us feel better? Because I don't feel better about it. No. I am actually fuming.
I really wanted it to be one of the others.
But then, as we progressed in the other two
it became obvious.
I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
So book 4 is called Broken Fae.
Broken Fae.
And I gave this 4.5 stars, edging towards a 5. I did very much enjoy this one, and I gave it 4 chili peppers.
Chilies!
What did you give it?
I also gave it 4.5 stars, and I gave it 4 chilies.
Yeah, there was the spice in this. The chili peppers really did kick up a notch in this.
Up. Yeah, big time.
There is also spice in chapter 1 in this because obviously we had Leon and Elise becoming mates. So at the end of book 3, so at the start of book 4, it literally does pick up right from there. So obviously they're gonna get it on.
Let's get it on.
So Leon takes Elise home to his family. That is literally the opening chapters of book 4. His whole family realize that they're mates and they're all like fussing. They're like, oh my god, like he's got multiple mums and they're all like, oh, this is amazing, and everyone's like so super happy about it. And then the spice in chapter 1 is Leon basically telling her and showing her about the lion way to mate, and basically she has to kind of like submit to him.
Yeah.
And I will say that in this scene I loved seeing this like more dominant, less golden retriever, more dom side to Leon.
For sure.
I just wish we'd gotten more of them, because he's been more like a submissive. He's given more of a submissive feel, although he's like a pack leader. I guess it wasn't really giving Dom energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that's because he was up against like Dante and Ryder.
Yes,
In which
yeah.
case you're gonna have to submit to those two,
And
because
he was
they
kind
are
of happy to as
the
well,
big
to some
boys.
degree. They
Yeah.
are the big boys, yeah. But seeing Leon's Dom side in this scene was so good.
Yeah.
I loved it. He like took charge and he was aggressive, and it was actually very nice. I really loved him in this scene.
I enjoy him a lot.
Yeah.
He's great.
I miss him. And then there was more spice in chapter 3 with Dante and Leon in the hot tub, and that was a great fucking scene.
That was really good. So because they're now Elysian mates, the boys are kind of like, oh well, we're out now, we're out of the picture. Yeah. But Leon and Elise, they take truth potion, and then they both tell each other that they miss the other boys, and that they do all want to be together as a unit. So then they'd have to go and find them and track them down.
Yeah, Dante's more the open one, I think, probably because him and Leon already like have this close kind of bromance anyway. Tight. So yeah, Dante's kind of like the first person to be roped back in. And then we have this like great hot tub scene where we get the tiniest smidgen of MM. Teeny, tiny.
It was that big.
Yeah, it was literally this big, but it was enough to satisfy me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that for free. I was cheering on. Literally, if I had like pom-poms.
Literally, I wanted more.
It was so good. So basically, Dante's in the hot tub. If you're not watching this on video, you won't be able to see, but his arms are basically, you know, like giving big dick man energy. His arms are just resting on the back of the hot tub, like leaning back like, you know, the big man he is that doesn't give a fuck about nothing. And he's just like leaning back like this. And then Leon comes over and starts kissing Dante for Elise because she wants it and she likes it. So Leon starts kissing Dante, and then she basically ends up on Dante's lap and doing bits with Dante, like physically seated on top of him, on top of his pee-pee. And then Leon eventually comes in behind, so we end up with a bit of DP.
Yeah.
And it is fantabulous. So Dante was in the V and Leon was in the A.
Yep.
And it was great.
Well deserved for both of them. The last two books were so fucking spicy.
Yeah. But they were balanced out with a decent amount of banter and plot and character development. Yeah. It was really balanced out.
So this one, like we mentioned earlier, Mariella.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking dodgy. So this is the one where Ryder finally gets his revenge. So everyone goes except for Leon. And Ryder does kill her. Well deserved. It was really good. Loved it. But when they get back, Leon just literally kicks right off because he's like, you all went on a mission without me. Like, why are you trying to leave me out? I'm actually her Elysian mate and you're just going off without me.
He throws the biggest hissy fit
tantrum ever.
It was so funny.
It was so funny. And also one of my favourite scenes in this is when Leon, being the golden retriever he is, he wants to do something nice for Christmas because it's the first Christmas where Gareth isn't there for Elise. So a week before Christmas, he invites all the lads out to this cabin. And on Christmas, when Elise finally gets there, all the lads are literally like sick to the teeth because Leon has had them doing all these things while they've been at this cabin. So like doing presents, decorating, like doing all this shit. And they're all just fuming and it's just really fucking funny.
Yeah.
I really love that scene. And then obviously, if you want to know, it's chapter 30, where when she turns up, they all come together.
Chapter 30 in book 4. That like, if you're not ever going to read this series and you just want to dip your toe in, just read chapter 30 in book 4.
Yeah.
Because fuck me. All of the books, all of the words and all of the pages, it was all worth it just for that chapter. Because boy was it overdue. Chapter 30 in book 4 is the first scene of all of them together at the same time.
So I literally wrote, this is all I wrote. So you're going to have to talk about, if you want to talk about what happened, you'll have to discuss it. Because all I put is, it's go time, baby, in capital letters, and then put chapter 30, baby. And that's it.
Too busy
So
listening
all
to
I know
your ear
is
holes.
that it was go time, baby. That's literally all I know.
That's all you know.
That's all I know.
You had a great time and that's it.
Yeah.
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 So basically, she does Gabe first. So she has a bit of like something with Gabriel. And then she is set down by Gabe on Leo's lap. And Leo's basically sitting on this like recliner seat. And he like flings it back really abruptly. And they just go whoa, like this, like really far back. And then he goes in the V. And then Ryder comes up behind. And honestly, I was losing my shit at this point, especially when Ryder came up behind, because for whatever reason I was expecting it to be Dante. So then Ryder came up behind and I was like, yes, baby, here we fucking go. So Ryder comes up behind, Ryder goes in the A, and it was insane. Dante then comes around the front and he goes in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So we got one in the V, one in the A, and one in the M.
Yeah.
And then Ryder and Leon, they both finish. And then Dante kind of like picks her up, flips her around, throws her over the breakfast bar, and then just rams it home from behind. And he's just like fully going to town. I mean, going to town. And then Gabe, who obviously she'd already done first at the beginning and then he finished, he then comes around the front to her face. And then she bites onto Gabe, onto his neck, and obviously sucks his blood whilst Dante is still like ramming it home. And honestly, it was so fucking hot.
Yeah. I know I had the time of my life, even though I couldn't remember the logistics, but I did have the time of my life.
It was insane.
Yeah.
When Ryder came up behind, I just I lost all my shit. All my cool went out the window.
He's pierced as well.
Oh my god.
Heavily tattooed and pierced.
Pierced in multiple places. Like he's got a tongue piercing and everything.
And he's cold, isn't he?
Mm.
Because he's a basilisk,
Yeah,
so he's cold to the touch.
Yeah.
So she's going to be having all those senses.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah!
Oh my god.
That was me the whole way through. So the ending of this book, again, they go and find King. They're going to go and fuck shit up. They're going for it. It's going to happen. It doesn't happen. So Elise is trying to save Rosalie. And King turns up and then kidnaps her.
Yep.
And that's literally how it ends.
Which, when you get to book 5 and they've rescued her within the first 10 chapters, it felt a little bit pointless.
Yeah, it was. I'm not going to lie, it was unnecessary.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Because they could have ended it on, wasn't this the one where they killed Felix?
Yeah. So after Rosalie's chapter in 36, we get the whole everything kicking off with Felix in the field and the fisticuffs. The war, not war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shit war. The absolute pointless war.
So there was the final fight in the woods. Rosa squares off with Felix and then Felix is killed. Everybody's there. And then eventually everyone's just like hanging around after. And then Rosa comes bounding in. And I think it's Dante's like, where's Elise? And I'm like, did you not think about figuring that out?
Ages ago.
Yeah. You've just been standing around for ages. And that's when they realise that she's been kidnapped.
Yeah.
So that leads us into book 5 really nicely, which is called Warrior Fae.
Warrior Fae. So this one was long as shit on audio. So just bear that in mind. It takes days.
I've got my note is 2 speed equals just under 15 hours. And then in brackets, fuck me.
Honestly, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was being fucked.
Yeah. Not a good one.
Not in a good way.
No,
but I did enjoy this one.
I was just going to say that.
I've got this down as this was the funniest book of all.
I said that as well. Yeah. It was the funniest book. Yeah,
it was fucking hilarious.
For me, this was the best book of the series. Yeah. I enjoyed this one the most. So that being said, I gave this 5 stars and I gave it 4.5 chilies.
You went 4.5 for the chalet?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a good point. I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 4 chilies, but I would teeter towards a 4.5. Yeah.
Did you give it 5 stars? Did you say?
Oh, fuck yeah.
It was so fucking good.
It was so good.
This was by far the best book in the series.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The banter in this. The bromance was fully fledged. They were all waving bromance flags in this. It was fucking epic.
Do you know what? Like, that's what I loved about this one, is that there wasn't like Leon trying to be friends with all of them, like trying to get them all together, or Ryder trying to learn how to be a friend to someone.
Yeah.
they were fully in. Like, this was it. They can all talk to each other however they want, and they've all got each other's backs. And
sharing the bed together.
Yeah.
Acceptance had settled in. They just knew, and they'd all kind of like gotten used to being around each other as well. And obviously, like, Dante and Ryder actually, was that in the previous book or was it in this one where Dante and Ryder then
they make a truce? That's this one.
Yeah, they make their actual truce then, which allows them to, you know, do whatever they want with Elise, and then they start telling people. So Ryder tells his mob, his clan, that they've called a truce, and Dante then eventually tells his family, and only one of those two clans are happy.
Yeah.
And it's not Ryder's.
Yeah.
And that really kicks off as well. There's at one point
plenty of death.
They absolutely hate him because of him calling a truce.
Well, there was like sort of half of them were like, oh yeah, thank God, you know, we don't want any more death or whatever. But then, because he has his second in command,
yeah,
Scarlet, who's actually a bit of a fucking dick.
Yeah.
And she was like getting everyone to go against him. So yeah, it was just a fucking shambles, really.
Yeah. So yeah, like we said, so she was obviously kidnapped at the end of book 4, and then she was rescued in like the first 10 chapters.
It was really funny watching the guys fall apart though, with her not there.
Yeah.
Or them trying to find her.
Well, it was like they just forgot how to function.
Literally, like Leon could not cope. They were having to get like hot milk and stuff for Leon, and they was all sharing a bed, like stroking his head and shit. Like it was insane. Obviously they'd have to do that because they're Elysian mates and they need to be together or whatever. But like all of them just completely lost their shit. Like, and no one knew how to talk to any of them. No one. There was no plans in place. Like,
no, they were just wandering around aimlessly, hoping she'd just reappear randomly, making zero effort to do anything.
Yeah. Heavily relying on Gabriel and his visions and nothing else.
That's literally what they basically just rely on. Gabriel's visions the whole way through all 5 books. So she is rescued eventually, and then they have this insane orgy where she's suspended from the ceiling by vines upside down with her knees bent as if she's kneeling, but with also her legs apart, and her ankles are tied to her wrists.
I feel like this scene might have been written like on 5 separate occasions, and they forgot what they'd written for like the first sentence.
Or it was written when they were pissed.
Yeah, that also could be.
And they're just correct. Like writing it down, laughing, being like, yeah, I'd love to see them try and figure that out. So she's suspended from the ceiling by vines that go around her knees, upside down.
Yeah.
And her legs are bent as if she's kneeling.
Yep.
But kneeling towards the ceiling.
I've already had enough.
So
I can't do that. Hang on.
Her knees are like this, but then her legs are apart like that.
So knees like this.
Her wrists are tied to her ankles.
Oh.
So she's like hog-tied.
Hog-tied backwards.
Sort of hog-tied, because they're not tied in the middle, are they? So she's like sort of hog-tied vertically.
No, she'll be like backwards. She'll be like that, won't she? If her wrists...
No, because her knees were facing the ceiling, so she was upside down like that.
So if she's like that...
So she's upside down like that, and her knees are like this.
Yeah, but then
then her arms are like tied to her things like that. And so her legs are up.
I've had enough already.
Her legs are apart.
I can't do this.
I got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to enjoy it. I was confused as shit, but I was like, fuck it. If it works for them,
that's what
on.
they want to do.
I'm on book 5 now. I'm not going to give it too much thought. I will say that because this book was so long, there were a good few periods where it was like, nothing's fucking happening. There is literally nothing happening right now. But again, like we said, although there was periods of like lull moments, it did get to the end and I was sad to let it go.
I think it's because we had such a good connection with all of them.
Oh, absolutely.
And like, even though book 5, there was so much of it that it was like, oh, this is really like not needed, especially because it's so long. However, because of this strong connection that we've got with every single character, I actually didn't fucking mind. And it was like, because most of the parts were just them dicking around and being funny and shit.
The banter was so good.
I was like, I'm here for it. Like, I'm totally here for it.
Yeah, so just we were saying a minute ago about Ryder and Dante breaking the adversaries bond. So this is the book where they break the adversaries bond, and which allows them to then be mated to Elise, and then that's basically what happens. They then mate to Elise, so then she's mated to Leon, Dante, and Ryder, and then they both go at her and then do a bit of a DVP.
Yeah, big
after
time.
they mate her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this book did really ramp up in the chili peppers.
In the chilies.
So after Ryder and Dante mate Elise, Gabe is obviously like, fuck's sake, I'm the only one that's left. Like, I'm the odd one out loud. Like, what's my role? Like, I'm not even needed here anymore. And he really, like, I wouldn't even say he has a tantrum. He's just wallowing in self-pity. So he decides to go to Zodiac Academy and see Lance. And then he ends up eating some form of baked goods.
It was something that one of the girls was meant to give to Lance because he'd fucked her over.
And it was poisoned.
Yeah.
So Lance didn't call her back, even though he said to this girl, like, I'm not interested in having a relationship. I don't do relationships. She was still pissed off. So she made these, like, poisoned baked goods, whatever they were, gave them to Lance. Lance hadn't eaten it yet. And Gabriel turned up and ate, like, fucking 5 of them or 10 of them or something, all in one go.
He's wallowing in self-pity.
Yeah, because he's stress eating.
Yeah. He's going for a hard time.
Because they're poisoned, his dick starts to grow and it doesn't stop growing, and he basically gets so big. It was insane. It was like, was it going up the way? No, so his balls basically touched the floor. His balls were like dragging on the floor, and his dick was just like you can carry it around. I'm talking like insane enormous. It just grew massive and it kept growing. It was so fucking
really
funny. Yeah, like I said, the
really
banter
funny.
in this was honestly top tier in this book. It was so funny. So Gabe obviously has like his little sulk and everything, and then he goes back, and then Elise kind of agrees to mate with him like the harpy way, which is where they have to like the male would usually present his mate with a stick, but she's like, well, I want to get you a stick. And then there's this whole fucking storyline of them trying to find the right stick for each other. And I was like, I cannot believe I'm reading
where we're going with this.
15 chapters about finding a fucking stick. And why am I so invested in this stick? Like, she's picking them up and I'm like, I don't think that's the right stick, Elise. That's not the one.
That's not
I just
it.
know that's not it.
That's not it.
And then it was just funny, and she gets one and then she chucks it away, and she, like, right at the last minute, and she's like, no, that's not right. That wasn't the right one. I just know it's not right. And it was just, it was really funny, but it was fucking, it was pointless.
There was so much stuff that happened in this.
Yeah.
Like, I've got some notes down of on things that happened that I was like, sure. So, first one was the Kiplings, the middle Kipling fucking sponge cakes.
Yeah, that was fucking odd.
That was really weird.
That was really
Don't know
odd.
where that came from. Then we had, obviously, the weird vampire that was in the tunnels. Turns out to be Elise's dad.
Yeah, which is Melinda
Alter's
brother.
Which is Caleb's
mother. So Caleb's uncle is her dad.
Yeah. So again, if you haven't read ZA, you won't know what the fuck any of that means.
Yeah, but Caleb from Zodiac Academy, his uncle is Elise's father.
Yeah. Just a lot of random things that happened.
So then she's welcomed into like the altars, and then we realise that Melinda's a bit of a prick and doesn't have any sense of social boundaries whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
Just outs them and tells everybody that she's got multiple Elysian mates when they were trying to keep it under wraps, and they were even like covering their eyes, like doing a special kind of like spell thing so that it looked like she only had one silver ring for Leon. And then Melinda just outs them, and it's all over the papers and everything. Ryder goes to Dante's house, is accepted by everyone, and that's when they reveal that they're Elysian mates and no longer adversaries. And they're bound in a new way. And that was actually really nice because because Ryder, obviously, as we know, grew up like abused. He never really had any family. He was obviously turned on by his own clan. So for him to go to Dante's, and they basically just welcomed him with open arms.
Yeah, for sure.
And he really got to experience, like, there was a couple of comments that were made to him about like, oh, you've got a lot to learn about what family is all about. Because he was like, why are you being nice to me? And everyone was like, well, because you're basically our family now. And he was just like blown away by it all. I thought that was really sweet.
Really good.
It was really, really cute.
It was really, really good.
And I just felt like really nice for him that he's finally found like not just like a little family with their little pride of the five of them, but also like extended family with Dante's and being accepted by everybody. That was really nice. I really liked that. We do finally find out who King is, and so we're going to say it now. So if you haven't left, this is another major spoiler.
Yeah.
If you haven't left yet and you don't want to know who King is, leave now. King is Professor Titan, and I'm not going to lie, that was the biggest fucking anticlimax of the whole series.
Do you know what? Like, we discussed this beforehand, didn't we? Where like the Titan thing just sort of came out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like their relationship together. Obviously, Titan had been in every book, but it was like he was mentioned briefly.
Yeah.
And then it just seemed like they ramped up his character in the 5th book, thinking, "Oh well, we need to make King someone."
And we also need her to have some kind of a connection. So let's throw in a little scene with him where she says that she feels connected to him like a father randomly.
And then she said, "Oh yeah, I've missed you," or something like that. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I missed you." And then it was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Because obviously at that point, when that scene happened, we didn't know that he was obviously King.
No.
And I was like, what? That was so weird and random.
It literally just came out of nowhere.
It was a bit of an anticlimax. I feel like out of all of that would be my only note, is that I wish that it would have been somebody else. Yeah, so it's like the two major points for me are, I do really wish that Gareth had actually been alive, and I also wish that King had been somebody else. Now, those are the two major plot lines, if you wish, in this whole series. And the Gareth thing I can't accept, because it was fine. We got closure of it. It was fine. The King thing, I am still a little bit like, it hasn't detracted at all from like my overall enjoyment. It just felt like it was built up for 5 whole books about who this person was, and it was such an anticlimax. I just wish it had been somebody else. But all of the other things throughout the series have carried it anyway. Yeah. So I still really enjoyed it, and it was still 5 stars, regardless of the fact that that was underwhelming. I definitely think that could have been done so much fucking better. Like, that really could have been a real shock value moment. I feel like that could have been fucking Gareth. Imagine if that was Gareth.
Lionel Acrux.
Yeah. I did think at one point, I wonder if it's him. It could have been a big fucking deal. Yeah, the other thing in this, which was a big thing, was that Ryder basically dies.
Yeah, which is sad.
Ryder gets decapitated.
Doesn't. He dies to everyone else in the whole book.
Yeah.
Because he actually kills Scarlet but pretends to be him.
So he has made himself look like Scarlet and made Scarlet look like him. So when Ryder is decapitated, it's actually Scarlet that was decapitated. But the spell of his body being over her being, he can only break that. So he's just left it like that. So as far as everybody's concerned, Ryder has died. And he was sort of a little bit like, well, his whole clan turned against him. He doesn't really have any family, and he can kind of start afresh. So he takes on the new name of Carson. I don't really feel like that was necessary for him to like take this new name and effectively die in the eyes of everybody else. I don't really feel like that was necessary. It would have just been easier to just be like, surprise, I didn't actually die, I just swapped places with her. And then for him to just continue on his life. So much fucking happens towards the end that we're literally at the point now where we're like getting to the very end and Gabe still hasn't mated with her.
Yeah.
So everything else has sort of been wrapped up. We know who King is. Like, Ryder has now got a new identity. Like, they've all had multiple group scenes, all that kind of stuff. So we're like, the only thing that's really left is Gabe. And is he going to become her Elysian mate? Obviously he is.
Obviously they fucking do. So they did become Elysian mates. Lovely.
Yep.
Then one of the epilogues, they all get married. Very nice. Loved it. My favourite epilogue, though, and I genuinely will pay the authors a couple of quid if they can bring out an actual book, because the epilogue, when it's like 16 years later, they've got a son and a daughter that are like teenagers, and it was just fucking hilarious. Like, it was so funny. So the boy is about to find out his order, so they're all like hyped about that, and then the girl is about to lose her virginity, and like they all just turn up at the car and they're all naked because obviously
they were in their orders.
Yeah. And it's so fucking good. Like, just them being dads is so hilarious.
They're proper in their daddy era, and it was so fucking funny.
It was so good.
It was really good.
Like, if there was just a book in that time of their
like
lives,
a spin-off, like novella. A novella of all of them in their parent era.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It was so good. I definitely would have liked more of that. I totally agree. So before we get to the epilogues, there is a scene. So she's basically had this stone, and in this stone is Gareth's memories, and she's not been able to get into them because you need the blood of the person whose memories it is. She ends up unlocking these memories, and she finds out, exactly what happened. And the way that Gareth talked about Elise the whole way through this book, in his chapters from the very beginning, his whole world revolved around her. Everything he did that led up to him being killed was because he loved her so much. He didn't want her to end up like their mum, who was a stripper. He wanted to provide for her, which is why he was stealing stuff, why he was working with both Ryder and Dante, even though they were opposites. And it's basically why he did everything, and it's how he ended up obviously being killed, because he just wanted to protect her. And the way that he talks about her the whole way through, but even in the end, like, about how much he loved her, literally just blew me away. I'm actually going to cry again.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
This is where she goes to meet Gareth in the Divide, and then they're having a little chat, and she's basically like begging him. I mean,
massively begging
to come back with her. And it was so heartbreaking, because he's like, I can't. Like, if I come back, all of these other dead people are going to come back, and then it's just going to cause a whole world of problems. And it's not my time. It's not right. You've got all of these men who love you. You've got a whole life to lead now. And it's so fucking sad.
It is, yeah.
So my favourite quote from the whole series is in this scene. And I think it's not like groundbreaking or anything. I think it's just because it hit the hardest. I was convinced. I think these scenes with Gareth hit me hard because I was convinced that he was alive.
Yeah.
So I had to not only accept that he was dead in these scenes, but also deal with the emotions. So the quote, basically he says to her, again, it's not like a groundbreaking quote or anything, but oh my god, I was bawling my fucking eyes out. Worse than I am now, by the way. I was actually proper fucking crying my eyes out. She's obviously begging him to go back, and he says, no, I can't. He says, I just want you to just go and be happy. And then he says, be free, little angel, live. And in his voice,
oh yeah, that's gonna hurt. Yeah.
In his voice in the audio, it was like, oh my god, it was so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad we're coming to the end now. The tears are a-flowing.
Yeah, it was very, very sad. Especially, like you said, because we've gone through this massive journey with him. Like, we've gone back through everything that happened 18 months before he passed. Yeah. So we've seen absolutely everything. And yeah, with us thinking he is actually going to be alive. And then that scene at the end, because she so desperately wanted to, hug him or just have that thing with him. And he was like, no, I physically can't. Like I can't do this. Oh, it was heartbreaking.
It absolutely ended me. I mean, like, ended me. Like, I'm talking cut the show, I'm out.
Yeah.
Type of ended. Oh my god. I was like, I'm tapping out.
Yeah.
It was too much. Yeah. But the epilogues therein after, the 50,000 epilogues, really pulled it back, and it kind of brought a little bit of lightheartedness back to it. And, she does mention Gareth in a couple of the epilogues and stuff like that. And it's just really sad that he wasn't there. Like, there was no need for him to still be dead. Like, he could have been alive.
100% he could have been alive.
He absolutely could have been alive. I'm definitely going to be bitter about it for a long time.
Honestly, there's genuinely no reason for him to be dead.
Okay, that's it, guys. That's how it ends. That is the end of Ruthless Boys. I genuinely don't know, like, if this is the state of us at the end of Ruthless Boys, which was like 5 books, I don't know what we're going to be like at the end of Zodiac Academy. Zodiac Academy isn't as spicy, and it does feel a lot more juvenile, and that's one thing we're concerned about, isn't it? About going back to Zodiac and it not being...
Not giving the same vibe.
It's not giving the same vibe. So not giving the same energy.
We did, once we got to book 3 of Zodiac, there was like a little bit of spice, which was fine. I don't know. It's all very childish. Like, this was more
Definitely, this is more
kind
our
of
vibe.
thing.
Yeah. Now, we have only read 3 books of Zodiac Academy plus the 2 novellas. So, obviously, we've still got a long way to go with ZA. So, we are going to like stick it out, obviously, and hope that it really does ramp up. I have absolutely no doubt that, regardless of our feelings on like some of the books, and if they are a little bit juvenile, there's no way you can spend all of that time with some characters and not feel a certain type of way at the end when you leave them. All around series, I actually think I'm gonna have to say it's like a 6-star read because of like, even though the individual books weren't like 6 stars, how I feel reflecting on the whole series and the connection to them and all of the characters is unmatched.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it was so fucking good. And book 5, like they really had a good one with that one. They were at their best in book 5 of Ruthless Boys. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
The banter in it was fucking top notch.
Yeah.
I
can already tell ZA is not going to top this. By the time I finish ZA,
I think it's going to be Ruthless Boys, Darkmoor Penitentiary, and then ZA is how we were going to rate it.
I 100% agree.
And that's obviously no disrespect to like other people's enjoyment of ZA. If you prefer that over the others, I think again it's just purely based on our usual vibes and what we vibe with.
And that's totally fine.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Okay, I think that's everything now, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's the end of Ruthless Boys, guys.
It's been a blast.
So that's Ruthless Boys over and done with, and I am tres sad about it. Cheers.
Cheers.
See you next week for ZA book 4
and 5
and 5. That's what I said.
Yeah. See you in 2 weeks for book 4 and 5.
Let me do that again. I'll see you in 2 weeks for ZA books 4 and 5. Cheers.
Cheers.